Good morning to you all. It's really good to be with you this morning. As many of you know, I'm Canon Kate Edmonds, an associate priest in the Axe Valley Mission community, but I'm also, of course, the Rural Dean for Honiton Deanery. But I'm actually here today with a different hat on. I felt as part of my Christian duty that I should participate when we moved here in some community work. I think it's important to be involved in your community where you actually live. I, as some of you know, live in Lyme Regis, though most of my actual ministry is within the Diocese of Exeter, and Lyme Regis is actually the Diocese of Salisbury. But anyway, I felt that I was called by God to do my bit for those in need in our community. So I felt when I heard about it that I'd like to join in and help at the local food bank. At times, it is quite pressured in my life with my various roles. But I felt that just contributing food to the food bank, that was fine, but it wasn't very sacrificial. And so actually giving up some of my, what I would consider precious time was important. Because I do think that our giving should be sacrificial. Hebrews 13 says, "Do not neglect to do good and to share what you have, for such sacrifices are pleasing to God." And I felt I did have a little bit of time that I could give. So I started to volunteer for the food bank when it opened in May 2018. But that's enough about me and why I do volunteer. But I'd like to tell you something about the food bank itself. The food bank opens its doors at the hub in Church Street, Lyme Regis between 10 and 12, let's get that right, on Wednesdays. From the onset, there was a steady flow of people. We were supplied with basic food items, which had been donated around the area, and we gave these to individuals and families who were referred by the CAB and other organisations. People receive a voucher which enables them to receive their groceries for 6 weeks. They then can receive another voucher should the need continue. Of course, people's circumstances change and the reason for the support varies. Often it has been because universal credit has taken a long time in coming. Or that was one reason. But all this has changed, and with the onset of COVID-19, suddenly we saw an increase in the number of families needing support. We found that more families needed support because the wage earners were laid off. Some needed support as they were isolating. We're fortunate that the Town Council has provided drivers for deliveries for those who aren't able to get to the hub. The relaxed atmosphere at the hub, though, has had to change, and social distancing and cleansing precautions have had to be put in place. Some of the volunteers were over 70, so that cut down on our numbers. But we still have sufficient regular volunteers and a very efficient system of hygiene. Sadly, the rather casual and chatty atmosphere with the clients has had to be reduced. But we still ensure that they're given a warm and supportive welcome, and we try to address specific needs where possible. But let's have some statistics. During the month of May, we supplied food to a total of 147 people, 67 adults and 80 children. They were supplied with basic necessities. We're also supplying now food to families who are currently getting school vouchers. And this is mainly done through Woodruff School. But we are also giving to families who are otherwise using the food bank. And in May, through the work done with this prepared food, we gave out a total of 126 frozen meals. The frozen meals have been a great way for us to make sure that no food goes to waste, as we can use excess items of food that we get, together with catering size packs that sometimes come in. These are being cooked by Ali of Dotty Kitchen, Dom from River Cottage and Harriet from Robin Wild. We've also been able to use the excess ingredients to make cakes and puddings, and these have been made by Kerry Spong of Spong Bakes Cakes. Kerry has also made up packs of cake and bread mixes that are being given to families to use whilst on lockdown. We've had some fantastic donations from local businesses and individual people over the past 10 weeks, and we are so incredibly grateful for their ongoing support. The post office at Uplyme holds a box which is regularly filled, and we really appreciate this. The supermarkets also have been giving very regular donations, and we now have a small outpost for collection in Charmouth. At the moment, our numbers are manageable with the donations we receive, but we fear that as the effects of the financial crisis due to the pandemic continue to hit, particularly in this area which relies so much on the tourism industry, the need will continue to grow. We continue, therefore, to need your generosity of tinned and dried goods, toiletries, washing powder, washing up liquid, and nappies, particularly size 5. If you have donations that you need picking up, please contact me and I can arrange a collection, socially distanced, of course. It goes without saying, please hold all of those who need this support, the support of the Foodbank, the volunteers, Sue and Sue who coordinate the Foodbank, please hold them in your prayers. And I finish with a verse from the first letter of John. How does God's love abide in anyone who has the world's goods and sees a brother or sister in need and yet refuses to help? Little children, let us love not in word or speech, but in truth and action. It's been really good to share with you this morning some of the work of the Foodbank. And I do hope that you will continue to give generously to what is a very worthy cause at this very difficult time, and continue to give afterwards when we will need it as well. Thank you so much for listening. God bless you.